Hello YouTube and welcome to another K-drama review. Not a K-drama. This time I'm going to be talking about a Chinese drama. First I've ever watched, and that is So right off the bat, this series is really long. It's about 75 episodes, so for this review I'm only going from 1 to 20. And I feel like a lot happened, but then at the same time not so much. Like, it still felt like a lot of setup within the first 20 episodes. But in a nutshell, Tribes and Empires Storm of Prophecy follows, I would say, 4 main characters, all of which have a destiny foretold to them. Oh my god, I am going to butcher these names. I don't even think I'm gonna try. I think I'll just put it on the screen. The first character is an heir to a kind of a nomadic clan who watches his family get killed in front of him, and he's been prophesized to be the ruler of the land and the sea sort of thing. And the second is a prince, name right here somewhere, who his mother was part charmer, and that, to me, I don't know much about Chinese mythology or folklore or anything like that, but she reminded me of like a cat of 9 tails. And because he is part charmer, no one really trusts him in the palace. He's been outcast. And he also has a prophecy, something to do with if he draws a sword or if he holds a sword, then great disaster will happen or something like that. Alright, so third is, and he is the son of a great military family, and what's cool about this world, because this is a fantasy, is that there's the monarchs, who are one family, and then another family is control of the military. Kind of interesting. I don't know how that would actually work in real life. I feel like the military would eventually just take over. Now, he was prophesized to become a monarch one day, and because his father, the military man, is extremely loyal to the monarch, he decides to abandon him. And lastly, there's a female main character, and her name is over here. She's been foretold to be the next empress. So a lot of the princes are like, gotta marry that one, because then if she's foretold to be empress, then if she's my wife, I'll be the king. Now, the show does have its problems, but I want to talk about what I liked first. And first I'll say the world building was fantastic. Like I said earlier, this is a high concept fantasy, but I never felt lost. The world building was really sparing at first, and it was really balanced with the brutal realism of the show. And there are aspects that I would really like to know more about, and if I am to continue, I would watch for those reasons. And also because the cinematography and the music is just gorgeous. Tribes and Empires, being the first Chinese drama that I've watched, has set the bar so high, it really looks like a blockbuster. It's a feast for my eyes. And if you have any interest in film as an art form, I would really watch this, because every shot is beautiful to look at. Tribes and Empires actually reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones, and I actually think it beats Game of Thrones in a lot of aspects, especially with its cinematography, but its characters can't compare. The characters in this show are lukewarm at best. They have no real distinct personality, and they're really forgettable. I mean, I'd really like to say that I think there's potential for these characters farther down the line, because this is such a long series, but I've already watched 20 episodes, so if I don't care about them by now, I don't know if I will. That's almost 15 hours of watch time, and I don't care about any of them. Now, I have to point out a huge problem with the female characters in this show. Although there's a lot of them, there's actually, in numbers, I would say it's balanced to the male characters, But where the male characters have an obvious ambition and a goal and a little bit more substance to them, the female characters are all driven by romance. Some of them, that's all you know about them, is their romantic interest. And it's really frustrating and disappointing now that I've noticed, because I think it's a show ruiner, actually, because now that's all I see. It drives them to be really despicable to one another. You have women orchestrating the rape and murder of other women to get their men, and it's just it's if it were one or two female characters that were solely driven by romance or motivated by romance to do despicable things, I'd be fine with it. But because it's all of them, all of the female casts are like this, it really puts like a gross taste in my mouth. I even like wrote down all of the characters, the female ones at least, and what I knew about them, and literally every single one, it's just all romance based. Like, there's 8 characters here. I'm speechless. I'm really speechless. But I do think that regardless of how awful the female characters are, you should still give this show a chance, just because the cinematography is so gorgeous. I think it's really setting up an interesting world, so I would give it a chance anyways, because these issues might not bother you the way they bother me. I guess if you watch it, I would really like to know if later on these female characters get a little bit more depth and agency, because at the moment the message of the show is really clear. If you've got a vagina, you're motivated solely by love, and if you're not loved by your interest, you have no purpose to the show, and they're either gonna kill you or just make you leave. Yep. I guess that's it. Have a good day. Have a good night.